Can you solve this question on the board? This is one of the interesting questions here. And we are given what? Y to the power of 6 plus what? Y to the power of 2 equals to what? 10. And we are expected to find the value of S in this what? Equation, right? Now, our first step, what you're going to do, you're going to express what? Y to the power of 6 to have a common like term with what? Y to the power of 2. So we know by obeying the properties of indices, we can write this as into y to the power of what? 2 all to the power of 3. Because 2 times 3 will give us 6, right? Plus what? Y to the power of 2 equals to what? 10. This is our first step, right? And our second step, what you're going to do, okay? What we're going to do in our second step, you can observe carefully that y to the power of 2 is what? Is common. So if y to the power of 2 is common, we can go somewhere and say that let y to the power of 2 represent any variable of our choice. Let it represent what? P. We can save it here because we need it later. Right? So in place of y to the power of 2, we can substitute what? P. So we know that here as P to the power of what? 3, then plus P equals to what? 10. And this is what? This is cubic equation. Remember, I'm going to teach you in this video, avoid what? Try and error what method. It is not always good using try and error. I'm going to show you an amazing and a beautiful way of solving short question, okay? Now, what are we going to do? Our first step from here is to subtract 10 from both sides. So that this is P to the power of 3 plus P minus 10 equals to what? 0. Then our second step, what you're going to do is to consider the constant 10, which is 10. Take note, this is not quadratic. This is what? Cubic what? Equation. So let's consider 10. Now, what are the factors of 10? Factors are those numbers that can be divisible by 10 without remainder. Factors of 10 are what? Are 1, 2, 5, and what? And 10 itself. These are all the factors of 10. So from here, I'm going to pick one number, just one number, and think of another number that should be a perfect square. That if I add them or subtract them, will give us the coefficient of P here, which is 1. Don't need to waste your time. You can see what? 5 here. 5 minus 4 will give us 1. And 4 is a perfect square. And this is a factors of what? 10. 1 must be a factors of 10 and 1 must be a perfect square. But it should not be that. That perfect square is from the factors of what? 10. But this other one is a factors of 10. So from here, that this is P to the power of 3 plus what? Plus 5P minus 4P minus 10 equals to what? 0. Wow, this is fantastic. At this point, there's nothing wrong if you decide to write this as what? P to the power of 3 minus what? Minus 4P plus what? 5P minus 10 equals to what? 0. Wow, this is amazing, right? At this point, you can observe that something is common. What is common? P is common into P to the power of 3 divided by P give us P square. Then minus 4P divided by P give us minus 4. Then what is common here? Plus 5 is common into 5P divided by 5 will give us P. And minus 10 divided by 5 give us minus 2. Everything is equals to what? 0. Now from here, you can see that we have a difference of 2 square, right? Because A to the power of 2 minus B to the power of 2 is equals to into A plus B multiplied by A minus what? B. This is what? Difference of what? 2 square, right? So we can do something very interesting here. So look at this is what? P into P to the power of what? 2 minus 2 to the power of 2 to represent what? 4. Then plus what? Plus 5 into P minus 2 all equals to what? 0. Since this is difference of 2 square, we can write it as P into P plus what? 2 into P minus what? 2 plus what? 5 into P minus 2, everything equals to what? 0. Wow, this is amazing, right? You can observe carefully that something is common here. What is common? Into P minus 2 is common into. If you divide the whole of this by this will cancel out this. We are left with P into P plus what? 2. If you divide the whole of this by this, we are left with just plus 5. Is equals to what? 0. And remember, for the idea of quadratic equation, when the product of 2 terms is 0, it implies that each of them or individually are equals to what? 0. Look at, when the product of 2 terms is 0, it means that individually each of them is equals to 0, or you can say that both of them are equals to what? 0. It implies that P minus 2 is equals to 0, or P square, because P times P is P square, plus 2P, because 2 times P times 2 is 2P, plus 5 is equals to what? 0. Wow, this is pocket-terraneous, right? Now I have linear equation, I have quadratic what? Equation. But let's find our P from here. By adding 2 to both sides, our P will be equals to what? 2. This is the value of P. But how about 3 solution? Because solving here is going to give us 2 solutions. But since this cannot factorize, it will take us to a irrational or unit, right? Because it cannot be factorized. But let's just base on when our p is equals to what 2 and find the value of y, because our target is to find the value of what y. Remember, you can also find the value of p from here, which you have 2 values. Okay, from there you can use it to go and find y, and y was give us the value of y. Yes, for here is 6. So that we have to have 6 solutions. Yes, we have 6 solutions. Let's see what we are going to happen here. But first of all, let me check my mic, whether my mic is on, so you can let me know that you're hearing me. All right, correct, it's on. Now at this point, when p is equals to 2, we recall that right, that from here that y to the power of 2 is equals to p. But our p is 2. That means y to the power of 2 is equals to what? Is equals to what? 2. And for us to have the value of y, just take square root of both sides. It means our y is equals to square root of what? 2, which is root 2. This is the value of y. But I'm concerned here. Do you know why I'm concerned? I'm concerned because here is what? It's an even number, and yes, an even number. So I can say that y is equals to minus root 2, or y is equals to root 2, because minus root 2 also satisfies this. Because let me see, minus 2 all to the power of 6. Let me see what is going to happen here. Or let me see minus root 2 to the power of 6. So I want to have this is what? Minus 1 multiplied by root 2, right? It's the same thing, all to the power of 6. I'm checking something, okay? Now I'm going to have here as what? I'm going to have so this is something as into minus 1 all to the power of 6 multiplied by into minus 2 to 2 all to the power of 6, right? And this, so minus 1 to the power of 6 simply means minus 1 times minus 1 is 1. Minus 1 times minus 1, let me see. Minus 1 times minus 1 times minus 1 times minus 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 times minus 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times minus 1 times minus 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So minus 1 times minus 1 is 1. Minus 1 times minus 1 is minus 1. Minus 1 times minus 1 is 1. So you can see that you just give us 1. So you have to just give us 1. So it implies that this will just give us what? 1, because it is an even number. Then multiply by this will give us 2 to the power of what? It gives us 2 to the power of what? 6 divided by 2, which is just 3. So you're having just 8. So you can see that our y is equals to minus 2 satisfy the equation. And also y equals to this also satisfy the equation. Wow, this is pocket genius, right? Amazing. Now from here, what you can do from here, you can do what? You can, using your formula method, that our p will be equals to minus 2 plus minus the square root of what? 2 square, okay? 2 square minus 4 times what? 5 all over what? 2. So it means that your p is equals to minus 2 plus minus the square root of what? 4 minus what? 20 all over what? 2. So it means that p is equals to minus 2 plus minus what? Square root of what? Minus what? 16 divided by what? 2. Now this is what I'm saying. Now this solution you see will take us to a what? Complex unit, because having a root minus 16 is a complex what? Solution. You can see. So there's no need of you stressing yourself going this, because you're going to have a solution that's undefined. That it cannot substitute and have a definite solution. So when p is equals to 2, give us a definite what? Solution. That means y is equals to minus root 2, or y equals to what? Root 2. And these are the solution to this question, as you can see. But solving it this way will take us to a complex what? Solution. So if you know you really find it very interesting, don't hesitate, do well to like, comment, and share to your loved ones or others who learn from it. And again, if you're not subscribed, consider to subscribe to our channel so that anytime we do exciting videos, be notified. So thank you so much, and God bless you. Bye.